Justice. What do you want?
Justice.
What do you want?
Justice.
How we gonna get it? We gonna get it standing together, organized as one.
We ain't know the answer to that question.
Disorganize the police. We need to treat the
That's the police line over there. They fell back out the parking lot. Check the parking lot, see what's going on over there. Justice!
Yo.
We're going to the parking lot where the answer to that question. They followed the squad car out, and then the tear gas popped. That's the police line over there. They fell back out the parking lot. Check the parking lot, see what's going on over there. Justice!
Yo.
So there was y'all remember there was a whole bunch of police in here. They done cleared out and fell back into the highway. They followed the squad we was in here in numbers, and then the tear gas popped. That's the police line over there. So there was a lot of water bottles being thrown. But you see folks out here already cleaning it up. See what's going on over there. CBS 46 out here. And this is again for Rayshard Brooks, who was killed last night by police over at So there was that Wendy. Y'all remember there was a whole bunch of police in here. Over at that Wendy, they cleared out and fell back into the highway. They followed the squad we was in here in numbers, and then the tear gas popped. That's the police line over there. So there was a lot of water bottles being thrown. But you see folks out here already cleaning it up. See what's going on over there. See, that's where the tear gas went off. Brooks. That's another one, I guess. They shot a couple of them. We was in here in numbers. And then the tear gas. And there's the canister. So there was a lot of water bottles being thrown. But you see folks out here already tuning it up. See what's going on over there. See, what was that? That's where the tear gas went off. Let's see your kicks. Yeah, my sister got me those for Christmas. You getting dizzy? I ain't even been spinning like that. Let's see your kicks. Yeah, my sister got me those for Christmas. You getting dizzy? I ain't even been spinning like that. Oh shit, there you go again. See your kicks. How you doing? Yeah, my sister got me those for Christmas. This shit.
What you been up to?
Working? I'm working at a law firm. I just applied to law school and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to get get started in the fall. I ain't even been spinning. Yeah, so what about you? Oh, where? That's what's up. Huh? Oh yeah, there's too much, bro. They're not organized enough. Like that's just ridiculous. Oh shit, there you go again. How you doing? Yeah, bro. Yeah, my sister got me those. That's what I want to see is more community leaders at shit like this. I'm working at a law firm. I just applied to law school and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to get started in the fall. Yeah, so what about you? Oh, where? That's what's up. 100%. Oh yeah, there's too much, bro. They just look at us like numbers, bro. They just say enough to get our vote. Oh shit, there you go again. How you doing? Yeah, that's okay. My sister got me those. That's what I want to see is more community leaders at shit like this. I'm working at a law firm. I just applied to law school and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to get started in the fall. Nah, we're not gonna go back in the house until y'all stop killing us, Quan. I guess not y'all, but us. Damn. Hey, don't cross the guardrail, bro.
Don't cross the guardrail.
Damn. Niggas don't listen for shit, bro.
Stop that shit. Bring up.
Let's go!
Watch out. Y'all see this shit? I'm talking about spill the fuck out, bro. Excuse me.
Yep.
Hey, let me get through it right quick.
We sure wasn't supposed to go over the guardrail, but you see what folks is doing. Gotta make people uncomfortable, folks. This is how it works. You in the black Jeep? What's up, Ronald James Chase? You're not in the black Jeep. That's a woman.
Don't do it, shut it down. Don't play with it.
Look at how many people stood down there. No justice, no peace. There's 75. Police coming, police coming. We retreating.
This shit finna get crazy. These niggas shut the highway down, bro. I'm not thinking that.
If you're not willing to put somebody on the line, if you are white, go home or be on the other side of the police line with your cousins. You are not one of us.
Wow. It is indeed. Let them know. If you're not putting your body on the line, then you're not with us. That's real talk.
Put your body on the line.
They've taken 75. The police did pull up there.
If you're not willing to put your body on the line for someone black, go on the other side of the road with your country. You are not one of us. Get down or they will arrest you. Get down or they will arrest you. That's what they want.
They talking about arresting folks.
What they want. Get your asses back where we belong. Protesting in these streets. Bring your ass down for the
They said they're gonna start arresting folks who's on the highway, so I brought my ass down. How y'all feeling, man?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The issue, man, we complain about the white boys and
want some of us to go back in the streets and help out our own streets. That's my issue.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. So hear me out. Is that there are a lot of programs and black folks who are trying to. Hey, y'all come down from there so y'all don't get arrested, bro.
They're gonna try to lock y'all up. Come down there, please come down there.
But we got a lot of folks in our communities. But the thing is, black folks don't have as much resources as white people do. So we do need help from the institute from the system. No, we do. Well, we need to change the system. That's a fact. That's a fact. But we need to change the system then, because this current system can't help us. And
we as black folks continue to white folks and ask them for their help and say, please say you're sorry and all this stuff. 400 years never said sorry. So why are we still asking them to say sorry?
I mean, but that's what they said. We tired of seeing our people get killed, right? We tired of living in poverty, having worse education, having healthcare dying at higher rates, COVID-19 killing us, and we got to be out here in the street. So you understand that this is my bad for interrupting, but this is our stand. We can't just storm the government and take over,
But I think we need to put more pressure on the prominent black folks in our community that have the money and resources.
I agree.
To invest, because what happens when you a brother, you get a rap career or whatever, what do? A lot of times you leave.
Yeah.
A lot of times you leave. Some do.
Yeah.
I give it Killer My T.I. They doing their thing, but not enough of us.
And I feel what you're saying, bro. And I'm not disagreeing with your sentiment, but I'm saying you got to see it. As a brother, I didn't come from the hood, right? I came from middle class family, all that. I had a good life, but I know folks who came from the hood. And they want to get out because they know the traps and the pitfalls and all the road bumps and speed bumps that can befall them there. And so even if you get money, just like anybody, you're a black man regardless. Yeah. You're a black man regardless. So if you in the NBA, NFL, it don't matter if you come from Gwinnett County or fucking West End, you a black man, you black as black can be. Right. So, once you get out of that situation, once you move to the white neighborhoods, that's when you start to get that image of what society should be for black people in terms of police, monitoring for the sake of protecting, right? Police come to the hood looking for crime and drugs. Police patrol the hood at higher rates than they patrol suburban areas, and white people and black people commit crimes at very similar rates. So it's and I want you to know that these people aren't protesting you, they're not protesting him, but they protesting the system. You feel me?
You got people walking past here, got their milk kids up saying, fuck 12, that's not what
I understand that it's hard to get that from the anger that we're relaying, but you got to understand the anger as well, the frustration.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and
I'm angry too.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of seeing us in the same old situations. We sit there asking for the same damn shit, and nothing is being done to help in our position in society. I believe as black people that we don't have enough of a cohesiveness. We got to wait for a white person to kill us in order for us to all of a sudden come together.
That's true.
As soon as we forget this person's name, we go back to cutting each other off, robbing, stealing each other, and that's not helpful. We need to continue the same mentality, cohesiveness as a union to move forward and change our situation, like you say.
I know. I mean, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I got a bunch of people on my live right now, so I'm afraid that they're gonna take that as the black on black crime, and we need to address that kind of argument. But that's not. That's
an issue.
Yeah.
That is an issue, but I think as black people we aren't cohesive enough because we argue over petty differences. That's why the black on black crime happens.
But here's the thing about the black on black crime is that it's happening at the exact same. So violent murders in black communities is 89% by black people. It's 81% in white communities. So it's not like black on black crime is some abnormal drastic issue. It's something that we need to address 100%. But and obviously I'm speaking for everybody here, and they not I don't represent them necessarily. But what I'm out here for is to stop the system, to say that if a person is sleeping in a car in a parking lot, regardless of the resisting or whatever, if he's running away, there should be, you know, you have his license, his car, you can issue a warrant for his arrest. He's obviously leaving the situation. And even if we absolve that situation, because, you know, that's one that I'm sure that people are going to be able to come up with something to explain it away, right? But, you know, you got the George Floyd situation, you got Sandra Bland, you got Philando, you know, it's time after time after time. And we know that it's not, you know, it's not you, it may not be APD every time, and it's not specific officers every time, but it's just like the system disproportionately affects us. So how do we stand up against the system in a way that y'all hear us?
That is my question. We sit here with protests. We did the same shit for Michael Brown, same shit for Trayvon Martin. What has that got us in the 8-year span? Absolutely nothing. So my question to black people is, what is our next move? I'm good with the protests. I'm good with the riots. But that's all we do. We act on anger. We act in a sense of our emotion.
Yeah.
But then we don't think, you know, okay, what is our next move?
Yeah.
How are we going to defeat the system?
Yeah.
And that is what I want to push onto us, you know, and any black person that listens.
Yeah.
What are some ways that we can hack the system and get in there and change our reality?
And that's real life. And that's real life.
You know, like I said, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'm full support of protest, but, you know, if protest is all we do, what good are we doing for ourselves?
There definitely has to be next steps. I feel you. But, you know, this is just the initial anger. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you talking to me, for real.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, that's Officer Mathis right there. That's a good brother. All right, y'all. My phone is on 10%, so I'm about to head back towards my vehicle. I'll give y'all a little synopsis. So we came out here at like 6, right? 6:30, and we got out here. The protest was peaceful. You know, a lot of people, but it was all peaceful. No real contact with the police. Everything escalated when the protesters followed a squad car out of a parking lot, and then folks started throwing water bottles and shit, and, you know, smoke popped off. They're now up on 75, blocking off 75. I just had a conversation with a Georgia State patrolman, Patrolman Mathis. I didn't get his first name, but, you know, like, when we see these black officers out here, like, part of you have to know that they feel us. Like, a part of them has to understand, right? So it's important that we don't just come out here and especially the black officers. Like, we need some black officers on our side. You feel me? We need some people on the inside who is standing up for us, and we know that they got us. And, you know, I know that's going to take some time, but it's going to take work as well on both ends. And that brother right there, he was willing to at least have a conversation, right? And I'm sure if I asked him to come meet up or do an interview or something, he would gladly do it, because he wants to see change, you know, lasting change. He said he was good with the protests. He said he was cool with the riots because he understands. He understands our pain. He understands our frustration. It's just about next steps, because this can't be it. This can't be it. We can't just come out here and yell and scream for a couple weeks and then be done. So we need to come out here, yell and scream for a few months, a few years, whatever we need to do. And then we need to elect people of color into office. And then we need to support, elected officials who want to reinvest in black communities and stop giving so much money to the police so that they can be militarized, you know? And these are the conversations that we need to have. And honestly, I'm not one who's going to tell y'all not to say fuck the police and not to flip off the police. I understand the anger. I understand that you're not flipping off the officers specifically. You're flipping off police as a system, as an entity. And I understand that. And so did that officer. He understood it. But I thought that was a productive conversation. I thought it was a fantastic conversation. And we need to have conversations like that if we want to work on next steps, right? Next steps. Like, if we just want to come out here and tear shit up, then that's not we at that point. We've been protesting peacefully for a long time. So if that's what we feel like we got to do, then that's what we feel like we got to do. But we need a action plan. Like the one woman said, she said, we're not outnumbered by police, but we're out organized, right? We're out organized. So, if we get organized, if we come up with exactly what we want, exactly how we're going to accomplish it, and come up with a next step of action, then that's when we see change. That's when we see, these Confederate monuments coming down. That's when we see legislation. That's when we see defunding of the police, and stuff like that. So I hope y'all, learned something, saw something, inspired you or something like that, it's tiring, man. It really is frustrating. Having, I work during the week, so I got to come out here every Saturday when I can, every Sunday when I can. But we're going to keep doing it because this is what needs to be done. So, yes, vote, 100%. I'm sorry I couldn't cover longer. My phone is about to die, like I said. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in, who shared, who, stood with us. And even those of you who came in here trolling, saying dumb stuff, thank you for showing us, what we're fighting against and the ignorance that we're fighting against, because we need to see that as well. Because, this isn't ending. There's people, look at this. There's people who are heading out here now. They're coming to the protest. We're leaving. They're coming. So I appreciate all the good, the well wishes, guys. We do this so that y'all don't have to, see on the news, rowdy protests in Atlanta. Y'all saw what type of time it was when we was down here. We were singing, I love being black. Why is that threatening? Why is that a riot? I don't know if they still on 75, but they did say they was about to start arresting folks if they stayed up there. So appreciate you, Terrell. I will be safe. Elizabeth, thank you. Appreciate you, Kev. Make sure all y'all like the page and stuff. We keep everybody pretty informed in what's going on in the black community. It don't cost you nothing, so we appreciate all y'all support so far, for real. If there's trolls and we're doing something right, yeah, we're going back next Saturday, 100%. We're gonna be back next Saturday. I might be out here tomorrow. I don't know. I gotta record something for the show, but I might be out here tomorrow. I'll let y'all know. There's a rally at Stone Mountain. There's a Confederate monument on Stone Mountain in Gwinnett. It's on Monday at 1. Like I said, I work, so I'm gonna see if I can get off to go to it. Just because I'm sure that's gonna be crazy. But you see, that's 75. That's the traffic we're causing by. Y'all looking at my face. I'm sorry, but that's the traffic we're causing by blocking up the highway. So
thank y'all.
That's what. That's the goal of all of this, is civil disobedience. Civil disobedience. You gotta make people feel uncomfortable. Appreciate your pop. Appreciate your aunt. I'm staying safe. We work smarter, not harder. I appreciate you, Mary. My bad, guys. I don't know what just happened. I got a phone call. Oh yeah, nah. They're going after the monument. They were supposed to go to the Confederate monument today, but they instead came to this protest. So they joined up with the Rayshard Brooks protest. So that is what happened with that. But they are going to do the Confederate flag statue. I don't know if they're tearing it down or if they're just going to scream at it, but I don't know. It's sounding kind of hectic. We might should have stayed for that last 10%, huh? Yo, Rob, if you called me because you think I'm about to get arrested, I'm leaving. So don't worry. I'm not getting arrested. See, I got good people looking out for me. They don't want me to get arrested. I probably would stay out here though, but my phone is about to die. I charged it. It was at like 95%. Conal Adams, I get it. The people driving down the interstate. Man, you're awesome. Lots of fun from Twitch. How you watching on Twitch? Can you do that? That's crazy. Appreciate that, bro. It's your parole officer. Better answer. I don't have a parole officer, Jonathan. I actually graduated from a top 50 institution in the United States. I'm going to law school in the fall and don't have a criminal record. So, nice joke, though. They're restreaming to 3.7 people. Can they do that? Do we get counts for those views? Sent you a PM. I can help you. Fuck you, Joe Couch. Yeah, man, you're on Woke on Twitch. That's what's up. What's going on, brothers? How y'all doing?
But now when you start doing these protests, man, get you one of them guys, man.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I be trying to avoid the gas at all costs, but I definitely need to get one because they was trigger happy.
And look, don't whack shit like this.
With a short sleeve?
Don't wear no shorts. Wear long sleeves and long pants.
Because of what? Because it's going to burn you or something?
That shit will make you itch, and it might be somewhere it'll make you burn. It'll burn you like pepper spray.
All right, word. I appreciate.
Don't understand it.
Yeah, nah.
It's military tank.
I didn't know that because I definitely been out here in some shorts because I be hot.
SWAT got that shit.
You said SWAT? Yeah.
SWAT got it.
Yeah.
They just got the gas. They just got the smoke bomb, and they got the regular shit.
Yeah.
When you see them green tanks coming,
yeah,
that's the National Guard.
Oh, so that's like the military grade shit.
Right.
Yeah. That's
they
different.
Got access to that shit.
Yeah.
And you don't want the goddamn military to come because the shit they got it 10 times worse.
Yeah, that's real. Y'all hear what he's saying? When we come out to protest, make sure we wearing long sleeves, long pants, because the military gas is different than the regular police gas, and it'll make you itch. It could burn you. So I'm obviously.
It's a tear gas, but it's mixed with something else to fuck with your skin.
Yeah, it's tear gas, but it's like mixed with some. So you know how pepper spray be like, kind of like that.
Have y'all seen the shows with them doing riots?
No.
When they do riots, and all this shit, the folk be coming out gagging, throwing up.
Oh yeah.
They just doing this shit right here.
Yeah.
They be doing it.
Yeah.
But the shit just tearing that.
Yeah. That's real, bro. I appreciate you letting me know that for real though. Yo, my bad, guys. Something happened. Got a little disconnection. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. It was a good day. We just got a call. They said that they're gonna start arresting everybody within the vicinity of that of the 75. So if you're out there on the streets, make sure that you get out of there. So anybody within vicinity of 75 will be arrested soon. So y'all gotta get out, be up through, go to your vehicles, and stay safe. Cause we don't need no more black people dying. We don't need no more black people in jail. So go home. Or maybe not go home, just move the protest, you know? Move the protest somewhere else. Because we don't need to go home. We just need not to go to jail, you feel me? Thanks for reporting. No problem, Habib. Like I said, I am currently walking away from the protest. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We just got calls that said there's going to be large-scale arrests, and we saw, you know, the prison buses and stuff. So we are making our escape. But if y'all are still out there, or if y'all know people who are out there at the protest, make sure y'all call them and tell them that arrests are going to start being made, and they need to get out. They need to get out of this area.
There is a group of protesters that have
go back to you, you know, move areas. Go back to Centennial Olympic Park, something.
At 9 o'clock
But
that we showed you
get away from 75.
the interstate. Now we're getting a different view of the interstate. You can see traffic is completely backed up.
If my feed
going
cuts off, it's probably because my
towards,
phone died. So
downtown towards the city. And then
I'm
you
really
can
just
see
chatting with you.
75 North, there's no traffic because if you look down here,
Right
you
now.
can see that Atlanta police as well as
if y'all got
Georgia
any
State
questions for
Patrol
me about how
have
the
set
experience
up
was,
on
or
the opposite side
you know,
of the interstate.
anything,
We're not sure what's going
let
to
me know.
happen
I will
as we've
answer.
been up here for maybe
Are there?
15
Yeah,
minutes or
CBS
so,
was out there.
while police have been on this side, and the protesters
Nobody was
have
rioting,
been on
but
this
CBS
side. So
is
this
out
is
there.
one of several scenes
People hands in the air. They're
going
arresting on the
near
highway,
scene of
apparently.
that shooting
I'm
last
sorry I
night,
couldn't cover that,
near
but
the Wendy's. We've got the protesters here on the interstate. We've also got another group of protesters that are near one of the other entrances.
yeah, CNN's out there.
Several different scenes.
CBS was out there.
75 going south.
And look, that's the backup that they're causing. It was great, bro. Until I was a little nervous when they popped that smoke, but they only popped like 3 of them. I wasn't scared though. You know, we don't get scared. But it was good, bro. Like there was a lot of good energy.
No, Brittany,
people were staying focused, which was really good to see, and people were listening to the folks who organized the protest. So, you know, there wasn't much commotion or anything. People stopped listening once they said, you know, don't go on to 75. They definitely went on to 75, but again.
Get them, link arms, and get out here and put your bodies between us and the state. What are all black people doing? We don't need you to care. Get on the highway.
In our number. There is power in our number, y'all. There is power in our number. For people who don't all about, if people don't understand why we block the highways, people don't understand why we put our bodies on the line, it's not just because we're angry. It's because we have to show up in number. When we show up in number, they don't know what we are capable of. And it's our duty. Araminta told us, Assata Shakur reminded us that it is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love each other and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Rayshard Brooks could have been my brother. Rayshard Brooks could have been my man. Rayshard Brooks could have been my father. Rayshard Brooks could have been my cousin. Right here, blood spilled on Atlanta streets. It is our duty. It is power in our number. It is our duty. It is power in our number. The highway is really packed out. I came down because I see that we're being closed in by police. They have already shot off some rubber bullets. They have already let off some tear gas. So I'm making sure that I am not too far from my car. I'm making sure that I'm not too far away. Too far from getting out of here if I need to. There is power in the people. There is power in the people. There is power in the people to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There's an army rising up. There's an army rising up. There's an army rising up, yeah, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There is power in the people. There is power in the people. There is power in the people.
Mic check,
To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain, to break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There's an army rising up, yeah. There's an army rising up. There's an army rising up, yeah. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There is power in the people. There is power in the people. There is power in the people. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. There's an army rising up. There's an army rising up, yeah. There's an army rising up, yeah. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. To break every chain, break every chain, break every chain. All right, everybody, so we are headed to the Wendy's off of University Ave, which is where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed for sleeping in his car in the drive-through line at Wendy's. Sleeping in his car in the drive-through line at Wendy's. Rayshard Brooks tried to defend himself. Though he did not put hands on the police, he took it upon himself to run because it was a natural instinct, because we're in the middle of a racial war, and he knew that he could have been next. So he ran in an attempt to protect himself, in an attempt to escape what could have happened, which eventually happened.
And if you look down here, you can see there are still
So we're out here
on this street here. We're off the interstate
because there's power in our numbers.
University Avenue.
Because while everybody has a role in the movement,
what we showed here was the protesters that were actually on the interstate. We saw police on one side and then the protesters on the other side. We'll of course keep you updated as the night goes on. Brittany.
businesses is what is on.
Oh, jeez. I thought we had like 4 minutes.
On our agenda, while electing our own is what
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, fuck, 12. A strategically placed cooler, but is there anything in it? And a nice little table, too.
No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Defund DPD. Defund DPD. Defund DPD. Defund DPD. Defund DPD. Defund DPD. You're a bad person if you litter. Don't litter.
Don't mess with Texas!
We love the environment. We love the black community. So Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Get 'em? You know that's not true. You're just trying to stir the pot. So if one of my mods could go ahead and time him out, I would appreciate it.
Hey, y'all see that woman right there? Behind the triangle. Put those fists up. No justice! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Fuck these racist ass police!
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 I like that. Because they heard us, let them hear it. Talk your shit. They're all here to talk our shit and make change. So let's make a difference, please. No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No peace! Fuck these racist police! No peace! Fuck these racist police! George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor!
So, your argument right now is that the only reason this is happening is because a black guy was killed. You want to push the narrative that it's stupid because where was the white people's march? When, first off, white people just kind of systemically have control of literally everything else in the country, so I don't know why you're complaining about a march. But second off, when you look at the numbers of people that were killed by police, it is true that there were more white people killed by police. However, if you look at those numbers in terms of a percentage of the population, black people are overwhelmingly killed at a higher rate. And since most of the cases of it were unarmed black men or black men running away, it's basically black people were being shot when they were innocent. The white people that you hear about are primarily the school shooters, the people that actually can afford to get guns and commit major crimes. Black people overwhelmingly die more in custody. They die more while unarmed. In the case of George Floyd, he got put in a fucking chokehold because they thought a $20 bill was counterfeit when it actually wound up being real. That kind of shit is not okay. So if you want to try and push the narrative that, oh, white people didn't get a parade, look at me, I'm racist and I don't know it, then you can get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. If you could go ahead and time him out, I'd appreciate it. Recom Tech.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down! Why we do this? Y'all can see how many people are coming out on their balconies right now trying to see what the fuck we are about. Give them away! Give them away! What we're about? We're about Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! I need y'all to let them hear this. Be loud. Y'all ready? Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
You know what? I like that too, Snaggle.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want it?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want it? Justice! When do we want it?
Now!
When do we want it?
Now!
Not later, but now! Yesterday! Not later, but now! Real quick. Not trying to leave anybody out of the fun. Not trying to leave anybody out of the fun real quick. But all my black people, real quick. All my colored people, my black people, real quick. I want you to repeat this with me real quick. I'm black and I'm proud. 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 Thank you. Now for everybody who's not black, they're black and they're proud. They're black and they're proud. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. They're black and we're proud. They're black and we're proud. They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we're proud.
They're black and we support them.
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 They're black and we support them. They're black and we support them.
They're black and we support them.
All the black people out here, all the white people out here, everybody out here, the people out here. Please give yourselves a round of applause. This is so fucking amazing. Oh! I know you're sick of me saying it, but this is what I'm going to preach. This is what it's all about. When we all come together. All of us coming together is what's going to change our nation. It's what's going to change things for the black community. The black community. It's been a long time coming, that's all I can say. And we're going to get it. With all of your support, we're going to get it. We're going to get that shit. Yeah, the bar gets on. Hold up. If anybody wants to say anything, y'all can step up. We're not young lady here. We're talking shit.
I've said it before, but I want to say it to the new people out here who are watching. I know you're annoyed. I know you want to go to fucking bed. You want to eat your dinner and you want to have a peaceful fucking Saturday. It's been a long week. It's been a long year. But we are out here because black people are still being fucking murdered in the streets. You can change it. You need to get on the phone with city council and tell them fix this shit. I want a full defund. When I say, hey, Karen, you say, call the manager. Hey, Karen.
Call the manager.
Hey, Karen.
Call the manager.
Hey, Karen.
Call the manager.
Hey, Karen.
Call the manager.
Call city council. Tell them stop giving us non-answers and bullshit. Tell us to vote. We voted for you. Fix this shit.
Hey, y'all repeat after me. Every day. Every day. Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every
Every single day.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Hope y'all hear that. We ain't going nowhere. This is the loud revolution. This is loud in action. This is what community looks like. We got black voices being loud today because they've been shut down for long. We got white allies supporting. We have white people that support all of us. This is what community looks like. We're gonna be loud. We're gonna be obnoxious. We don't get that peace until we get our justice. This is what it looks like. All right. Black lives are under attack. This just like that. When black lives are under attack. This just like that.
What?
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna be getting mobile in just a second. We have one more. And also, please throw your trash away. No littering. Please throw your trash away.
Everybody who supports what we're doing, thank you guys. I mean it. I'll say it over and over and over again. I love each and every.
Well, see, I thought the police were more connected to their community until they trapped everyone on a fucking bridge and tear gassed them.
Black women matter, black children matter, black trans matter, black gays matter. I love all of it. This is Pride Month. So we're just
I mean, do you mean North America or South America? Because there's only the United States of America.
Matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Trans lives matter. Tony McDade. Tony McDade. Tony McDade. If you've not heard that name before, go home and look it up. It is just as terrible as all the other ones. And we're going to continue saying his name and all the others, okay? Y'all ready to march? Yeah. Y'all ready to march? Yeah. Are y'all ready to march? Yeah. Let's march.
Yeah, the Plano protest was kind of eh. And I don't know if it was because it was a very Christian protest or what, but the first person to speak at the Plano protest was the Plano police chief, who proceeded to talk about how we don't need to disarm the police because it would be chaos. The second person to speak was Ahmaud Arbery's lawyer, who proceeded to say, we have a problem with policing in America. And then we marched around the block, and almost immediately as we made it back to the starting point, everything just disbanded. It was the strangest fucking thing.
On streets! On streets! On streets!
So yeah, the Plano protest was super peaceful, but it didn't really feel like it got anything done. Because they were like, yeah, we don't need any profanities about the police. We don't need any calls to defund the police. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, dude.
Thanks.
streets! Our streets!
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
Well, except if you take these protests to the hood, first off, your argument is that we need to go to the hood. But first, you need to ask yourself what you're qualifying as the hood. Are you talking about poor neighborhoods? Are you talking about predominantly black neighborhoods? Predominantly minority neighborhoods? Because you sound kind of racist just saying the hood. Because if you're trying to say that you just need to go where all the black people are because of the black on black crime, that makes you a fucking racist. But if you're saying they need to go to the predominantly poor neighborhoods, the way I say hood, how am I supposed to say hood? Hood.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do about that at this point. Let me see what that battery looks like.
If you want to push the black on black narrative, the first thing you need to realize is that...
Heard that, Jacob. Joseph, no, not scared. Just this isn't my first front line for sure. I'll probably say about my 6th or 7th, maybe my 8th or 9th. Absolutely, worry about the protesters first. Send them checks out. 75.85, thank you. Yep, that's where we're at. Yeah, I can promise you, if anybody is alert on this highway, like their ambulance is not taking on the highway whatsoever. If they're blocking roads, they will move. A lot of people are pretty good down here about that. I haven't really seen any blocking of it, but it can happen. You guys are so welcome. Thank you guys. But I do believe that everybody should feel this way about protesting. You see all these cars, you see all these people here. You see how backed up it is. You see how, yeah, people are coming from work and coming from home and have so much shit to get to and so many things to do. But literally, the black man got shot last night, unarmed, in our city. So the best protest that we can put to it is to disrupt everybody. So, you know, on this highway could be a lot of people who don't give a shit about our protest, don't give a shit about what happens to black people. A lot of people actually do care about what happens to black people. They're out of their cars and they're coming. And some people, either way it goes, they just want to get home. Well, at least you know, you will remember this shit right here. So as far as the protest goes, this is as effective as it gets. As effective as it gets. You know, it could be in Centennial all day and nobody will watch. CNN won't even be down there. None of that shit. But look what they did today. You understand? And I was already in my feelings earlier because I was at a protest and they were basically doing like, you know, barbecue food, fried chicken, and people were performing and shit like that, which would have been great earlier during the week when we were finally getting some victories and such. But last night, like I said again, young man got shot. Young man got shot, absolutely unarmed. Whether he had a taser in his hand or not, buddy, I'm pretty sure that gun beat it all, right? So this is the results of it, you know. This is much rather where I would rather be than at a barbecue on the corner, just putting shit on for IG. You know what I mean? So this is what a protest is all about. I can't even say I feel sorry for people that are stuck on the highway. If it was me, I'd be pissed off, but I probably would have got out of my car by now, honestly, and joined in, or at least did my part to film the protest, because there's so many people who haven't been to one, who haven't seen one, could honestly give two shits. Well, now your ass is probably stuck on the highway, and to that person, catch my live stream, bro. See what's going on in this feed. Today, tomorrow, every day that I've been out here since the first day, since the day I was stuck inside of a Starbucks, broken glass, three burning cars in front of me, and just a little bit of battery power, and I got ran up.
So they're asking everybody to have numbers. I noticed everybody like, fuck that Wendy's. Like, yeah, nobody's worried about that Wendy's. I don't think the cops are worried about that Wendy's. You know what I'm saying? What I heard is never frozen.
So let me try to work.
So they're having a powwow. Basically, one of our next move, Officer Asher, is a part of that circle, having a bit of an attitude. Officer Enos isn't, he is over there. Officer Enos has been one of the most mature, professional officers I've seen throughout the weeks. I've seen a few of them. I've seen quite a few of them. Officer Enos, he got a young lady who was just trying to negotiate with the officers as far as being on this bridge. Of course, this is illegal as it gets, but she was trying to get away, though we can be on here a little longer, and she can get everybody to get off the bridge at once. Officer Asher then proceeded to take her hand and try to put her in custody, and everybody basically won to tell him to release her. He was so pissed off about it. All right, so what are you guys saying? Go down to Wendy's? I'll go down to Wendy's because this bridge is about to get pretty bad. They're gonna keep thinking, exactly. And my whole thing was the week was so quiet, and you know, it's great that everybody can make time on a Saturday to bring their ass out and protest, but that Monday, that Tuesday, that Thursday where you had a really bad day at work and ain't shit shaking but some alcohol and cigarettes. Well, you know, here's the day. It's another day. This day could be Monday. This day could be Tuesday. Another black man could be killed right around the corner, guys. Right around the corner. And this would be the time to be out here, but not just when shit like this happens, the day after that and the day after that. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, friends. Excuse me, ladies. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get on the other side here. Excuse me, friends. I'm gonna hop over right here. I'm sorry.
The police are moving in. They are making an advancement on peaceful people, and we hope that our folks don't get brutalized.
As you come down the hill, be safe. Help
The
each
police
other.
are moving in on peaceful protesters, and
You can smell the smoke for sure.
do not get brutalized.
Going ahead to Wendy's. Oh, lost my glasses. Every time I see this street in my life, I might see them 10 years from now. You might see my glasses. Gonna get down here. Gonna get down here. You can definitely smell it. A little residual tear gas too. So somebody definitely got gassed. All right. Something on fire down here, so I'm gonna go check it out. This is very reminiscent of my first night out protesting, surrounded by fire, smoke, and glass. So. I'm not sure what this is on fire. Oh, that is the Wendy's. That is the Wendy's. Keisha is about to put us back on punishment for sure. The problem with Keisha right now is she's been caught saying way too many things publicly about the way people have been disorganized and the way she's speaking about the looters and rioters on the first 2 nights. It's just right now she doesn't have much public trust, so she can put the curfew on all she wants to, but it's not going to be a good move. That's Wendy's, so basically it's their trees burning. They haven't been able to actually get to Wendy's, but they're aiming at it basically. Jesus Christ, it's like everybody is smoking weed right now. It's like they set weed on fire. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for witnessing this. Please stay safe out there. If you are in the Atlanta area, just be safe out there. This is the time that looters find any reason. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. First of all, some kind of way my eyelashes are cinched. Not sure how that happened. I had beautiful eyelashes.
Miles,
I'm pulling them off right now.
All the way. If you come to the left, this is the university exit right here. You can
to the
see
precinct.
nobody is moving
I'm gonna sit right here just for a second, guys. I'm gonna catch my breath. I ran out of Gatorade a minute ago. This isn't your normal protest where they're handing out waters, cookies, and treats, and kumbaya. And this is like the first 2 to 3 nights.
That it could take up to 45 minutes.
Definitely where shit was
right
wild.
Now,
but you got a lot of people out here helping each other. Like when I was on the ground, I was rolling, guys, and I needed milk. He needed some milk. He needed some milk, and I got milk. But my glasses got lost. You know, I'd rather have my vision.
Are not going anywhere anytime soon, Brittany. And
I mean,
again,
look
this is
at
because
this, guys.
protesters
Like,
are on the highway.
We all know the bushes ain't
above
gonna suffer too much, but you know, the
so
bushes
we're
are
not
alive.
expecting
Are alive.
this to clear up anytime soon until officers get
last
those
night's police
protesters
killing.
off the highway. But
no one cares about your eyelashes. I mean, I did.
Streets, the streets that are connecting.
I did. I had nice eyelashes.
Area, the ones that
my eyelashes are better
like
than most people that glue them on. You know,
are
so
also seeing a heavy
little
traffic
cinch
of
there.
people just trying to figure out how to get around this as they try
Thank
to
you guys
make
from
their way
NC.
north. All the
If you don't
downtown
hear
streets are also seeing heavy traffic again
if you don't
because of
hear
this very thing as people try to figure out a way to get around. But this the northbound lanes, no traffic at all. Southbound lanes completely backed up 4 miles. Brittany, I'm going to continue to head out here, be out here and see exactly how long it takes for these cars to start moving as those try to head southbound right now on 75. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Bobeth, let me ask you a question. I know that you were outside of Chris Stewart's office for our earlier live hit as he is representing the Brooks family right now in this case. When you were making your way to your current location, were you able to see just how far all of this traffic sort of extends back into Midtown, or even, I mean, is it going back into Buckhead even, you think?
I wouldn't go all the way, say, in Buckhead. We did not see that. We actually just started heading now south along some of the southbound streets. So we didn't even get on the north side to see how it's impacting on the north side, because when we looked on the highway, it just wasn't looking good. We got on just by the Capitol and then started making our way on side streets along 75 trying to get to this location. When we got here, we realized some of the other streets, like to get onto the highway, was closed, because our original plan was to try to get as close to protesters as possible. But as we saw the streets were blocked off and we saw the traffic on some of those side streets, we just knew that wasn't possible. So we decided to just set up shop right here, as this is the closest we can get. And I mean, when I say backed up for miles, again, when I did the Waze trying to figure out how long it would take, it said 45 minutes. But when you look at the way traffic is moving, it's not moving. So we don't think 45 minutes is even accurate because the highway was completely shut down. If we were trying to, and this was 45 minutes to get to the station, which is in Midtown off 14th Street. So just imagine from where we were at University to trying to get 2 or 3 miles north to 14th Street. It just would not have been, 14th Street from where we were to 14th Street, 45 minutes would have been a disaster, I think.
We do know that we are live on CBS 46 right now. We are live on Peachtree TV right now with this breaking news in terms of the protests that are happening. Bobeth, thank you so much for that coverage. We're going to get back to this chopper shot, it looks like, this aerial view of the shutdown of the highway. We just heard from Bobeth. We heard her say that really traffic is backed up for miles. We've seen it here developing for the past hour now. And you can see this is developing right now live on your screen. Officers are moving towards protesters. This is a scene that we have seen at protests here in Atlanta time and time again. But they are moving forward with their shields. They're moving forward with their helmets on, and they're moving forward with their vests on, it looks like, as well as they get closer to protesters. Protesters, though, still have their arms raised, it looks like, still holding their signs, and they are not moving. Those officers, though, taking one step at a time. We're going to hang on this shot because we've seen this before, but of course we don't know exactly what's going to happen as officers get closer to protesters. One of our reporters did tell us that tear gas was deployed at some point during this entire interaction, this entire protest today. Keep in mind, this has been going on for hours. Right now, again, we're watching officers on the move as they advance towards protesters. What will happen when they get to that line of protesters that have refused to move for the past hour now? We're going to have to wait and see. I know the images are a little dark on your screen, but just so I can tell you what I'm seeing, I'm sure you're seeing the same thing. Protesters in a straight line. These are the same protesters that have been there for an hour. And there you see it on the left-hand side, officers taking down one protester at a time. It looks like they have they're putting them down on their face, putting their arms behind their backs and making arrests. They're now moving to the middle of this line right now. You're watching this live on your screen as we are live on Peachtree TV and live on CBS 46. Officers advancing towards these protesters that have shut down 75, and it looks like they are making arrests. If I count them right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 people on the ground on the left side of your screen. It looks like some people on the right side of your screen have actually been arrested as well. And then you have this group in the middle that officers are now, looks like they're interacting with in some way. I didn't see from my vantage point, of course, we'll have to confirm this with authorities. I did not see any sort of violent interaction with protesters. When I saw what I could see from the left side of your screen, one officer put another person or protester under arrest. It seemed peaceful. They put their hands behind their back. But this middle chunk of people, I'll call them, are now being met with officers on the front lines there. I know it's very dark, but it looks like they are making arrests to get these people off of the highway. They have been there for about an hour at least. Again, we saw a couple of people on the highway. It turned into dozens, and they have not moved. They have refused to move, and they have caused a backup like no other here in downtown Atlanta. But a lot of people have said they're angry. A lot of people have said they're tired. A lot of people have said they have had enough because another black man was shot and killed by a white police officer. That was last night. His name is Rashard Brooks, and he was in the parking lot of a Wendy's on University Avenue. And this is the result, according to protesters, of that incident. They wanted to demand justice, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. So once again, we are coming to you live with these images on CBS 46 and on Peachtree TV. You can see what is unfolding right now. In just the last 6 minutes or so, Atlanta police have advanced towards these protesters, trying to get them off the streets, making one arrest after the other. We don't even know how many people, because it's a lot of people, how many people are on the highway there. So it may take them a while to actually make that arrest. We want to show you this video as well and just sort of bring you up to speed as to how we got here. This cell phone video shows the final moments of Rashard Brooks' life. We do know CBS 46 was the first station on scene of this tragic shooting, which happened about 24 hours ago. An Atlanta police officer shot and killed Brooks again last night at the Wendy's on the University Avenue, which is really where everything is taking place tonight. Officers say Brooks resisted arrest and even managed to wrangle a taser from that officer. This is a cell phone video, another cell phone video you're looking at on your screen. And we also have that surveillance video from the Wendy's where you see, there it is, you see Brooks running. Investigators say he turned around and pointed a taser at the officer, and that is when the officer fired the shots in Brooks' back. We're going to go back to these live images. We just saw a few arrests happen live on air. Of course, we'll reach out to authorities to ask them exactly how many arrests were made just now. But officers with their shields, with their helmets on, with their vests, have advanced towards protesters. It looks like protesters are on the other side too. This is a new image now that we're just seeing. Traffic, though, has not moved for an hour now. We don't even know what those drivers must be thinking. I wanted to ask Beth Yates, and I'll ask her in a few minutes, if any drivers have gotten out of their cars, but we can see if that chopper can maybe go up a little bit. We just saw some people being walked to the patrol cars in zip ties or handcuffs. So we do know that a couple arrests have been made. And just look at how many cars are really parked on that highway there. They cannot move. And surprisingly, look at these images. If you remember, if you've been sticking with us, the fires are still going. And now I don't see one fire. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 small fires on your screen. These really just popped up. I have to say, in the last 30 minutes or so, we saw one fire burning. We got word that there may even be a small fire inside of the Wendy's there, but it looks like outside the Wendy's, more small fires are popping up. So we're definitely going to reach out to Atlanta Fire Rescue and ask them if there are any plans to put these flames out, because we do have a lot of people in the area. So of course that can be dangerous. But yeah, those flames were not there the last time we went over to this shot. What you're looking at, the building on your left, is the Wendy's. We do know that protesters, according to our reporters on the ground, broke into that building, busted out the windows, busted out the doors, broke glass, and that is when they said they saw smoke coming from that building. But again, we have fires outside of the building. This is all really the backdrop for the highway that has been shut down now on this night of protest, Saturday night. We do know that they went out there at 8 o'clock, but that was really the continuation of a number of protests that have been popping up all throughout Atlanta all day. The first protest really was at midnight, and CBS 46 was there. We were the only cameras there documenting all of those protesters as they were there in front of their Wendy's after Rashad was shot and killed. We're going to go to Molly McCollum now, who can give us more of an idea as to what's going on traffic-wise. Molly.
Absolutely. You can see it right there, and you can actually get another view on our GDOT camera. This is right by University Avenue. What you're seeing, all the backup is the southbound lanes. The northbound lanes empty right now because they have completely shut it down with the protesters on the highway right now. You can see lots of those flashing police lights, and this is going to continue until they get this protest off of the highway. So avoid the connector. Absolutely avoid it this evening if possible, because we're going to continue to see these delays, and they are extensive on the downtown connector. In fact, a lot of these delays in the southbound lane extend all the way back just to the Grady curve, so you cannot go southbound on the connector right now. In fact, if we go ahead and take the traffic computer, I want to show you exactly where this is and where we're looking at in downtown Atlanta. You can see where those lanes are blocked, and where you see purple, that's never a good sign, especially on this traffic map, because that means all lanes are shut down. So I do want to show you how these delays
at Tires
extend
Plus,
all the way up
you're
to
in the
Grady
driver's
curve.
seat.
You cannot
Right
go
now, get
southbound
free
on the
installation
connector.
when you
have to
purchase
take
any
285. Even in southbound towards I-20, you won't be able to make it to I-20 in the southbound lanes. Now, if you're coming from I-20 and trying to get into the northbound lanes of the downtown connector, you can do that, but you cannot go southbound. In fact, let's look at the south side of these delays near Langford Parkway. As you go, you cannot go northbound on the connector, and of course, southbound, you will not be able to make it in that direction either. So at this point, the best alternative is to take I-285 in any direction you're trying to go into Atlanta right now, and avoid the connector with those delays continuing to stack up. And Brittany, it looks like things are not going to be moving at all until they get the protesters off the highway.
A lot of traffic there, Molly. Thank you so much. We're going to give you another live look now at what is causing all of that traffic. The protesters, if you're just joining us, we got to catch you up as to what's happening here live. Protesters took over the highway around 9 o'clock tonight, and they shut down I-75 by University Avenue, which led to backups on both I-75 North and I-75 South. officers have since, in the last maybe 10 minutes or so, officers have since gotten in their shields and their helmets, and they started walking and advancing towards those protesters, making arrests. It looks like we're watching some sort of police and law enforcement getting off of the highway there as Chopper gives us live images. And we have to go back to the Wendy's. This is the Wendy's at the center of this incident and investigation. And right now you see, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 small fires, little fires outside of the Wendy's here. Oh, I see a 6th one. Again, every time we go to this shot, we are seeing a new fire that has been set by people that are outside the Wendy's. I don't want to call them protesters necessarily because I don't know if they were part of the original group or they just sort of came to the scene there. So, but it looks like they are setting fires. We do know that reporters are on the ground. They're working to get to a safe distance because, as you can see, things are still developing there on the ground with fires being set and just a lot of people in the street there. And of course, we want to be as safe as possible. So let's go to our reporter, Bobeth Yates, who has another viewpoint of all of that traffic that's at a standstill. Bobeth.
Yeah, Brittany, it hasn't really changed much since we've been here. Right here, you can see southbound traffic really backed up. I just checked again. Now this traffic is going all the way back to Mount Zion. So as you can imagine, southbound traffic backed up from University all the way to Mount Zion. That's a couple miles. And earlier I heard you mention, I see people coming out of their car. Not yet. I haven't seen anyone really come on, but I have seen people turn their cars off, windows down, but no one actually on the highway. But it seems like the traffic continues to be delayed. Right now, it's not moving at all. When I did Waze earlier, it's saying it would take about 45 minutes to get from University to 14th Street. But again, I don't think that is correct because traffic is not moving at all. And many of the side streets have been also packed with people as they try to make their way north or figure out a way to get around all this traffic. But again, Brittany, we'll be out here trying to figure out how long these folks are going to be waiting in traffic, and we'll bring you updates as we get them.
Bobeth, let me ask you this quick question. Are you seeing any of the drivers getting out of their cars? They have to be restless just sitting there in their car for so long.
No, I haven't seen anyone get out. All I've seen was people turn their car off and open their windows. One guy earlier had his door open, but he did not get out onto the highway. Right now, all we've seen is a couple cars just turned off. Like the one in front of us seems like it's off. There's no lights on that one at all. And there's been a couple more of that where, people just, I guess to save their gas, just kind of shut their engine off and are waiting with the windows down. But no one on the highway as I've seen so far.
All right, Bobeth, thank you so much. We'll get back to you in just a moment. So again, no telling exactly how long people will be stuck in their cars. And when you look at that, it looks like traffic is moving on one side of the connector. It's hard to see exactly which side this is. I don't know if a producer can tell me exactly what we're looking at, but it looks like some cars are able to start moving there. This is the first time we've seen any movement from any vehicle in the past hour and 15 minutes. So as protesters have taken over I-75 and I-85 in protest of the shooting and killing of Rayshard Brooks. And we do just want to, if we have those pictures now, we can go to those images. Again, this is a northbound. I just got told this from my producer. This is northbound on I-75, I-85 by the University Avenue exit. It looks like cars now are moving. Again, this is the first movement we've seen since protesters shut down the highway. We have seen in the past 15 minutes officers make arrests in order for this to happen. So, of course, this is developing now. And I do want to sort of get you up to speed and let you know how we got here. It is 10:15 right now. And about 24 hours ago, 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks was at a Wendy's. According to investigators, he was asleep in his car, and officers arrived and they gave him a sobriety test and then tried to make an arrest. They said that there was some sort of tussle, as you can see on your camera. This is actually cell phone video from a witness from other people who were at the Wendy's. And then you see what happened here in this surveillance video. That's where this picks up, and that's where this story picks up. Officers say that they took the officer's taser, that Brooks took the officer's taser and started running and pointed it back at officers. And that is where that officer you see on your screen, a white police officer, we are still waiting to learn his name, turned around and shot Brooks in the back. And we have learned that since then, attorney Chris Stewart has chosen to represent the family as they handle this case and so many others of unarmed black men being shot down by police officers. And we also know, developing today, that Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has called for the firing of this officer. Again, we don't know his name yet, and has also told us and announced today major breaking news that Atlanta Police Chief Erica Shields, has resigned. So we have a lot of developments that are happening all throughout the day, really. Shields did send out a statement saying that she will support Mayor Bottoms in whatever role she is assigned and whatever her vision is for the department. Of course, we know that there is an interim police chief right now and that there is an immediate search for the person that will take over that job. We want to head back out to live pictures right now. This is the first time we're seeing this. Traffic finally moving after an hour and 15 minutes of I-75 and I-85 being completely shut down, stopped to a halt there. If we can sort of stay on the highway there just so we can see traffic moving now. What you're looking at is some of those fires that were outside of the Wendy's. I saw 6 of them maybe 6 minutes ago, but now I see that they're dying out a bit just naturally. I didn't see any Atlanta Fire Rescue putting out those flames, and it looks like protesters aren't as close as they were, although I do see some people still in the street there. I don't see any law enforcement from our vantage point. They could be either in front of the protesters or in back of the protesters, but it's hard to see. And I know those images are dark on your screen, but just to let you know what I'm seeing as I'm watching it live with you, there are some protesters there on the outside of the Wendy's standing in the middle of the street there. If we can get a chopper to go back over the highway, I-75 and I-85, so we can see traffic moving, this is definitely breaking news, as this is the first time we've seen traffic move in an hour and 15 minutes. But in the meantime, until we get that shot, take a look at what's happening right now. Another fire inside of the Wendy's on University Avenue. There, now we have both images. So the fire is on University Avenue there at the Wendy's inside. Looks like the drive-through window. This is the second fire that we have been told happened inside of this restaurant. The first one was told to us by our reporter. She said she saw possible flames and really smoke coming out of that restaurant after people had busted the windows and broken in. And now we see these flames coming through, shooting through almost, and they look pretty large through the drive-through window, it seems to be there. I don't see any people outside of the restaurant. It's hard to see. I do actually see a person on the left side of the screen and another fire now being set. So fires keep popping up. We don't know who's doing it, what they're doing it with. And it looks like another fire. This is happening live, guys. Another fire in the front of the restaurant. I can see those flames. They're small, but we can see those flames there shooting into the sky. This is another vantage point for you at home. You can see the smoke from all of those fires we've been talking about for the past 30 minutes or so. This is the result. Smoke now just billowing into the air. It's making the air pretty thick from what we can see. We can only imagine what it's doing to the air out there on the ground as people just continue to walk in the street. People are walking by that gas station there. What I can tell you is what's interesting, we haven't seen this in a minute, cars are now passing through. And of course, we know that is because the highway has since reopened, at least on I-75 northbound, after those protesters shut down the highway for such a long time, all protesting the shooting and killing of Rayshard Brooks. So we see a lot of people, it looks like maybe a dozen people on the right side of your screen, just there in front of the Wendy's. This on the left side of your screen, producers, can you tell me exactly what we're looking at here? It looks like an awning. It looks like a building. Okay, this is a shopping center, according to my producers. This is a shopping center that's next to the Wendy's, and now we're giving you another look at those fires that are continuing to spread in this Wendy's. You can see the front sign, the Wendy's sign is actually charred a little bit from those flames that are just sort of going throughout the building at this point. Of course, we're going to ask Atlanta Fire Rescue, where are you to put out these fires? Those flames are now shooting as they grow minute by minute. They're shooting out of that drive-through window. Just take a look at your screen. Of course, this is the first time we're seeing this. We're watching it live with you. Those flames are growing as we continue to watch these images. And if you look at the front of your screen, that's the front of the restaurant. If you've ever been to this Wendy's on University Avenue, that's the dining area in the front on the right side of your screen. And there's another fire there. Now it looks like Chopper is giving us another shot of traffic. I believe this should be the I-75 south side. Producers, let me know. Okay, this is the I-75 south side. This is still at a standstill. We know the I-75 north cars were moving. We saw that in the past maybe 10 minutes or so. But it looks like This is breaking news right now. Cars are now being let through. I-75, I-85 no longer shut down. It was shut down for the last hour and 20 minutes. We brought you every moment of that blocking of the highway live on air, and it looks like cars are now being let through. This is the first time traffic has moved. We know that this has caused extensive backups throughout all of downtown Atlanta, as we heard from Molly McCullum. And she's going to give us another traffic report right now. If you can, Molly, break down what you're seeing.
This is the first time that we've seen traffic move, especially in the southbound lanes, and those delays were extending all the way back to past the Grady curve. We're talking about past I-20, and there's another view. This is just behind where the highway opened, a little bit farther north on the southbound lanes, but we did see people hop back in their cars earlier on this camera. We did see people waiting outside their cars, walking up and down the highway, because as Brittany mentioned, this area has been at a standstill for the past hour and 20 minutes or so. What you're seeing on the other side of your screen where the lanes are empty, that is the northbound lanes. Those are back open. We're not seeing many cars move through there right now because it was shut down for so long. A lot of people started avoiding the highway. We've seen maybe 1 or 2 cars come through, but obviously the focus right now is on the southbound lanes. And Brittany, I think we're going to hand it back to you as we're seeing a little bit more activity happening at this Wendy's on University Avenue.
I mean, boy, Molly, those flames are growing by the minute. We're watching this live. If you are just now joining us, we've been watching this fire since it was first set, maybe about 10 minutes ago, and you saw, a few sparks here and there. But now look at this fire as it continues to consume that entire drive-through window, which is what we think that area is. It's basically, you can see pieces of that building just falling off as protesters are now in the street. This is all happening live as well. You see some activity here by the Wendy's on University Avenue. People here, and I don't know if these are protesters from the earlier protests or these are people that just joined in, but they have actually taken over the street. And you have to bear with us as we're bringing you all this information live. Chopper is just sort of taking different shots of what's happening down there on the ground. So we're going to head back to this fire that we're watching really just consume this building. You can see now it's going into the roof of this. Where we're actually looking at the fire going into the roof of that building. And just to give you a reference point to bring you up to speed as to why people are protesting by this Wendy's, why people are setting fires inside of this Wendy's. This was the scene of an incident maybe about 24 hours ago where Rayshard Brooks was shot and killed by a white police officer while he was there last night. According to GBI investigators who had a press conference earlier today, they say that the 27-year-old fell asleep in his car, and the officers showed up, tried to give him a sobriety test, and then they tried to make an arrest. There was some sort of tussle, as we've seen from different cell phone videos from witnesses, and they say that Brooks took one of the officer's tasers. He got up and he started running with the taser. In the surveillance video that we've seen that's been released from GBI, we also know that at some point Brooks turned around with the taser in his hand, and that's when we know the officer fired shots. We see some fireworks going off right now, set by people as they start running off to the right of your screen. But just to get back to how we got here, Vic Reynolds, the director of GBI, saying that is when, in the surveillance video, as you can see, Brooks turned around with the taser and the officer shot him in the back. And of course, we're waiting to figure out exactly who that officer is. We're going to head back to our Bobeth Yates, who has been on the ground. Bobeth, are you seeing traffic move right now?
Yeah, we saw a couple car length movements, so not a lot. But you can look out here, you can see just a little bit of a crawl. I would say still less than 5 miles an hour. But it's definitely better than no movement at all, as folks literally have been standing here for hours, about an hour and a half, I think, as you mentioned, as they try to make their way north. Again, when I checked, it said it would take about 45 minutes to get from this exit on 75, that's University, all the way up to 14th. And as you can see, that's the southbound lanes, but the northbound lanes completely shut down. We're seeing no traffic coming through the northbound lanes, and the delays on the southbound side is going all the way back to what we were told was Mount Zion Boulevard, and many of the side streets are also packed. Now, Brittany, earlier today, before we came here to this site, we actually were at a press conference with the attorneys representing the family of Rayshard Brooks, and they told us that the picture that's being painted isn't a full picture. In fact, they talked about earlier that day or earlier yesterday how Brooks was actually spending the day with his daughter. She is celebrating her 8th birthday today. Yesterday, he took her out, had her little pampering, had her nails done. Today, he was supposed to take her to the skating rink as a birthday celebration. And as both attorneys, it was Chris Stewart and the other one, name fails me now, said they were with the family, and while they were sitting there, they were having a party for that 8-year-old, and they were going over the details of their case during this party for that 8-year-old. So attorneys said they were just saddened by this whole ordeal, and they said they're so frustrated that they're having to deal with this yet again. And one of the things that kept on coming up was the video that was released that showed Brooks running, fleeing from the officers. As you can see right now, before I go to that, you can see some police officers heading north. They're actually heading south in the northbound lane, if that makes any sense. So they're heading north in the northbound lane. I'm sorry. So you can see this isn't good, but they're adding to the scene right there. But as I was saying earlier, one of the things the attorneys were saying is that the video that is going to be one of the key evidence in this case shows Brooks running from the officers and then turning with the taser in his hand. And they said around that point is when the officer shot. But they said that cannot be used as a reason for using deadly force. Take a listen to what the attorney said.
You can't say he ran off with a weapon that could kill somebody when you say it's not deadly. You can't say you don't have other options. Where was he going to go? He was barely jogging away. You could have boxed him in. Support came in, I think, 2 minutes. He would have been boxed in and trapped. Why did you have to kill him?
Yeah, so as you can, the attorney said he actually lost a couple of cases on the same very issue where officers said that they used a taser and it wasn't deadly force, so they can't turn around and now say that a taser is deadly force. They're saying you can't have it both ways. Another thing they also mentioned was that the time it took for aid to be rendered to Brooks as he was laying on the floor, they said it took several minutes. They said in between the time he was shot and the time that they came over there, checked his pulse, multiple minutes had passed, and that was, time that could have been important to save his life. In addition to that, they said they have video of officers picking up shell casings before they're rendering aid, and they're claiming that act of picking up the shell casing could be a way that could be trying to conceal evidence of how far he was when he was shot. But again, a lot of details are coming out because all of this happened with a packed drive-through, and so many people were watching, so many people were recording video, and all of that now law enforcement, these attorneys have to compile to figure out what is next. GBI says they're going to be doing their investigation and they're going to try to do it as quickly as possible, but also as thorough as possible. And then they're going to turn over all their information to the state attorneys, and then they will decide if charges will be filed against the officer involved in this shooting. But Brittany, we are seeing a little bit more movement now, going back to what we're seeing here. You can see it's almost like a steady flow, just about maybe, I would still say 5 miles an hour, but it's not stop and go traffic as what it was when I first started talking to you. So you can see it actually going. I'll send it back to you right now in the studio.
All right, Bobeth Yates, thank you so much for that as we look at live images of traffic now moving on I-75 south and I-75 north. We have to, though, bring you up to speed as to how we got here. Just 24 hours ago, we know, according to officials, that Rayshard Brooks was at the Wendy's on University Avenue. He, I guess, fell asleep in the car, according to officials, according to GBI, who has taken over this investigation. Fell asleep in the car. Police were called. They tried to do a sobriety test and then tried to make an arrest. There was some sort of a tussle between Brooks and the officers where his taser was taken. We've seen this unfold on several witness cell phone videos. The taser was taken, and then we see what happens on that surveillance video where Brooks is running from officers, and he turns around for a quick second with that taser in his hand, and then you see an officer shoot him in the back, and that has set off a firestorm on social media, and has set off a firestorm in the streets as people are upset at the death of another black man at the hand of another police officer. Of course, we don't know if that officer will be fired. We heard Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms calling for that officer to be terminated today. We also heard that Police Chief Erica Shields resigned today. So a lot still developing right now. I do have my colleague Rick Fulbaum now in the studio. Rick, would you like to join in on this coverage and add anything that you're observing right now?
Well, you know, I wasn't supposed to be here tonight. But I got a phone call that I was needed, and I'm glad to be here. What I'm sad about, though, is that I need to be here. You know, we've been through so much here in Atlanta over the last several weeks, several months, even if you're talking about COVID-19. That to see this happen and to see the city going through this sort of collective trauma again is very upsetting.
We're going to go to Yasmina. She's on the ground right now. She has a ground shot of what's unfolding. Yasmina, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Brittany, we're still at the intersection of University Avenue and Pryor Road. You can see there's a lot going on here. The Wendy's where this shooting happened is actually on fire right now. Maybe 30 minutes ago or so, we did see an Atlanta fire truck that attempted to get into this area, but protesters would not let that fire truck through. And in that time, of course, that fire got much, much worse. I mean, even just within the last 5 minutes or so, that is some really thick smoke coming from that Wendy's. There also looked to be a lot less people out here than when that fire first started. You can see that traffic is also now moving through this intersection while protesters are also in the road and on the sidewalk. This just one of several scenes that we're seeing.
It's just a modern way of fucking slavery.
And you go to your other neighborhood and you sit in your fucking Cadillac and you smoke your weed just like me.
Get me out of here.
Fuck y'all.
Get me out of here. First of all, and I know I mean,
fuck the police.
Fuck you, Ben.
And you march.
Are that your favorite colors? Racism.
Y'all don't have to be like this. This doesn't have to be like this. Y'all pushed us to this position.
That's really boring, too.
We're angry.
Are you just
We're sad. We're fucked up. We're tired of fucking dying. Every fucking day, bro. Every fucking day, bro. Every day I wake up, another fucking hashtag, bro. Every day I wake up, another black man is fucking murdered. Or black trans woman, or cis woman, or anything that's fucking black in this fucking country. So fuck y'all, because y'all don't give a fuck about us, and you never fucking did, and you never fucking will. So why the fuck should we give you more money?
Fuck the police, they don't care about me. Fuck the police, they don't care about me. Fuck the police, they don't care about me. Fuck the police. The disrespect, just because we got a different fucking president. Fuck that puta. All that bullshit, y'all just sitting here. Y'all just fucking sitting here.
One of the good ones, you're not paying attention.
They put, come on now, y'all.
And they're not telling you one. Because, you know, that's what happens to Brianna, right? It's fucking no, not warrant at the wrong fucking house when you already have this respect in the country. What the fuck kind of shit is that?
What the
fuck y'all.
Kind of shit is that?
8 fucking times. And the incident report said she had no injury. Fuck y'all. Why do I ever trust you? Why would I ever believe anything that you fucking say? when you literally are lying to our faces.
You guys can see in the background all that smoke. You guys know where that's coming from, right?
No injuries? Fuck no.
They told them all very serious.
Can we get a fire department? Can y'all call for a fire department?
Can you call for a fire department? For a fire, dog.
They already called it. It's already called.
Known as a criminal
It's en
and a
route.
murderer.
They called it already.
Y'all had 227
They called already. En route.
How are y'all gonna keep lying to us like we don't have fucking receipts? Like the shit is fucking public record. What the fuck, yo? We see it. We can read, motherfucker. We can read. It don't make no sense. There are autopsies after. So, then we talk about how the medical examiner works with the police. So y'all lied about George Floyd at first, and then when they got an independent autopsy, then he died of asphyxiation. Fuck y'all. Why would I believe anything you said when the fucking medical examiner is gonna lie to my fucking face? The medical examiner is going to lie for y'all. Why would the whole system lie for y'all?
Thought about saying something and thought about snitching on their partners and thought about snitching on stuff, but the rest of these fucking pigs that work with you would have fucking killed you and ruined your lives. Do you remember?
Like for real? I hope when all of y'all get home, you have no loot to beat your I hope you beat what I did tonight. I do. And I hope you can't come either.
I just want you to know that you can quit tonight. You can take that badge off tonight. Especially you work for it.
Because you know what you're not doing?
You work.
What you're not doing is helping. 46
How
seconds.
could you?
Eight
How
shots.
could you?
Slave patrol. Who was at the door of her?
How could you betray
with one black woman and 8 other white women? And the black woman somehow magically died. And y'all want to call it an accident. Because one of the woman's boyfriends worked for the fucking
I know you have
courthouse.
bills to pay. I know you got mouths to feed.
And now we're reopening the case. Why? Because of this shit. So we're not gonna fucking stop. Because our lives fucking matter. You can't just kill us the fuck off and think we're not gonna fucking be here.
I know it hurts. I know
There's too many of us for you to kill us all.
That's too many! And that shit ain't in my soul.
13% That includes you, black officers. You are a part of the 13% minority that is black in this fucking country. 13%. You are part of the 13%, and you can't even fucking get it.
You might want to do your job and handle that, right? You might do your job.
Sorry guys, I gotta change battery real quick. Had to run over here. I just seen the flames sky high, guys. Sky high. Just came running over here. I am gonna keep my distance. They're warning everybody just because it's so close to the gas station. I am gonna back up. I'm gonna back up about 400 or 500 more yards real quick. So.